Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am starting with all my makeup complete except for my cheeks and lips. As you guys can see from the title of today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the new Sephora Collection Highlight and Contour Palette. If you guys haven't seen these yet, these came out around, I probably said like a month ago, and I've had these for a few weeks, and I have been literally dying to film with these. I really wanted to film a first impressions review because the second I saw these in store, the first thing I thought of was, oh my god, we finally have an Anastasia contour and highlight palette dupe. These pretty much look like the exact Anastasia contour palette this one does, and this pretty much looks like the new glow kits, the new ultimate one and the new Nicole Guerrero one, where it has the 6 quadrants, not just 4. So in today's video, I'm going to be swatching all of these contour and highlight colors. I'm going to be applying them on my face, and I'm going to give you guys my honest first impressions review on them. I will not lie to you guys if they are bad. I will tell you the truth. But if they are amazing, you guys know I probably will be excited, and I will be using them a lot in the future because you guys know I love inexpensive palettes because it makes me feel a little bit better about recommending it to you guys, so you don't have to like waste your money on really high-end expensive stuff. So if you guys are interested in these palettes and want to see how they perform and how they swatch, you guys are in the right place. Just go ahead and keep watching. Before I go ahead and start actually contouring with this palette, I'm going to open it up and swatch it for you guys so you guys can see how the pigments actually swatch on the hand and whatnot and how they blend out. So when you're looking just at the package of it, it has a really pretty like gradient package. It looks like it goes from like dark to light. Then when you open it, the thing that I like about it so far is, as opposed to the Anastasia one, it actually has a clear lid so you can see what palette you're grabbing. You don't have to just guess. Okay, so they literally make this like the hardest palette in the world to open. It's like glued in, and then it's like inside a box inside of this box, so it's like a little bit of a hassle to open up. So like I was saying, as you guys can see, this comes with a clear lid so you can see what you're actually grabbing. You don't have to just like grab a palette and then guess. I like the fact that it's clear so you can see what is inside of this. This is like one of my biggest pet peeves about palettes, when they have like a color lid and you don't know what it is. It's like, can you just make my life a little bit easier and show me what's inside the palette, please? So just honest first impressions so far, I feel like the packaging could be a little bit higher quality, but you kind of get what you pay for. I mean, this obviously has a better price point because the packaging isn't going to be like designer Tom Ford packaging. It's going to be a little bit more like drugstore. But as you guys can see, these are huge palettes right here. There's like a lot of product in the palette. It's kind of cool that it gives you 3 matte contour slash bronzers, then it gives you 3 matte highlights as well. And then just for comparison, I want to show you guys my Anastasia contour palette next to the Sephora Collection one. As you guys can see, it's pretty much almost the exact same palette. I mean, this Anastasia one has definitely been put through the wire. I've used this one like for over a year now and I'm obsessed with it. So it's gonna kind of be cool to see if this one that is like half the price is gonna be the exact same quality, so I don't have to go back and buy the expensive one, because I believe the Anastasia ones cost $40 and the Sephora Collection ones cost $28. So one thing I'm liking so far is that you're getting almost the exact same colors in a bigger pan for a better price point. I mean, the packaging doesn't like matter that much to me. I don't really care if it's nice packaging or if it's bad packaging. As long as the packaging doesn't break, that's all that I personally care about. Okay, so I'm gonna do my best to swatch these for you guys, but you guys know that I am not the best at providing swatches in my video, so just bear with me if these swatches are like a hot mess. But I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the top 3 first. I'm gonna do 3 at a time just to make it easier. Okay, first impression so far is these do seem very like soft and buttery. They don't seem dry at all, and as you guys saw, I did a little bit more of an aggressive swatch. And then I will swatch all 3 of these right here so you guys can see. And this is just clean hand. I don't have any primer, nothing on. So as you can see, the highlights don't show up that much, and that's kind of like a given because I'm very fair skinned, but they do seem like they slide on very easily. I don't notice any chalkiness. In case you were wondering how I'm taking off the swatches, I'm using my favorite wipes in the world, Neutrogena makeup wipes. Just gonna wipe my fingers and my hand off, and then we will swatch the next 3. I'm gonna do the literal exact same thing, just do a couple swatches in each. Ooh, so far those look so much more pigmented than the highlighters in the top row. So first impression off the bat with these 3 contours, I feel like the contours are showing up a lot more pigmented as opposed to the highlighters. Alright, so let's do a finger swatch on the hand and we will see how far these spread out. Oh my god, that is a lot of pigment. Okay, so far I feel like this contour palette is going to be amazing. I mean, I have nothing bad to say at all with this, the first like swatches, but everybody knows it's a lot different when you swatch it on your fingers and arm as opposed to on the face, so I'm not going to judge it too hardcore to how it swatches, but I really wanted to provide you guys swatches because I know that everybody always wants to see swatches these days. I really like the designs of these boxes so far. I like how they both kind of like correspond with what they are. Like the contour one has like that darker fade, this one has like that highlight in the center of it. Right off the bat, the first thing I'm noticing is that the highlight palette is like literally in the exact same packaging as the contour one. It's that same kind of like cheapy plastic metal, but I just love the fact that it has that clear lid so you can actually see what you're about to like grab. So before I swatch it, just to show you, this is how they look next to each other. They are like literally the exact same packages. Okay, so starting out these swatches, I'm gonna do the top 3 first. They don't seem like as glittery as I was imagining. So far they look like they swatch very beautifully. Regardless if you want to use these for your cheeks or eyes, I feel like these are going to be amazing as well. So let me get these applied on my skin, and oh, holy crap. One of the things I'm noticing is that they don't look super like glittery and chunky. Like if you look super close, they have a really good like smooth texture. They're not glittery and chunky at all, which is kind of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to highlighters. Alright, and then for these next 3, let's get these swatched. Again, how can you complain about these? I have nothing bad to say about these palettes like at all so far. They all seem like they swatch so nice and so well. I'm noticing that the only ones that didn't swatch like the best in my personal opinion so far are the first 3 matte highlighters on the contour palette, but that just kind of like goes with any like matte highlight. It's not going to swatch that well. Again, like, how could you complain about that quality? Like, that looks literally so buttery. Okay, so these are actually applying a lot better than I was imagining. This is going way better than I was hoping for. So let's get into the portion where I'm gonna actually apply it on my face, and then we can like really judge these powders. But just off the initial first impressions, you guys, I am excited. I feel like these are gonna be amazing. So for the bronzer slash contour today, I'm gonna be using one of my favorite contouring brushes. This is actually kind of new to my collection recently. I got it around like a month ago. This is the new Wet n Wild collection of brushes. This is probably like $3 or $4. It's really cute and like condensed. It's just a really good like blush or contour or bronzer brush. If you need a good affordable one, go buy this. I know you'll be obsessed like I am. So I did make sure to wipe off this brush as best as I can. I didn't go ahead and like actually clean it with soap and water, but I wiped it off like on a tissue to get all the pigment out. And I'm pretty much just gonna do this the exact same way that I would contour on the daily, just to kind of see how it performs. And as you guys can see from the get-go, like it's a lot of pigment on the brush, so I'm just gonna be careful and tap the excess off so I don't have to get that all over my face and have it be too much. Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for. I'm really nervous, but let's just go ahead and apply this. Oh my god, that is a lot of pigment. Hopefully I can soften this out. Okay, so far this is literally so pigmented, but I can't determine yet if it's almost like too pigmented. It seems like it is blending out pretty well. You just have to kind of like work to blend it out. If you do want more of that natural bronzer contour, I would just advise to be very delicate with how much you dip your brush into it, because I feel like I even tapped off the excess and I feel like I almost had a little bit like too much on my brush. But as you guys can see, it's doing a really good job at like blending after giving it a little bit of time to soften out. The only thing that I kind of like worry about with how pigmented this is that like if you are a beginner with contouring or bronzing, or if you just want that natural look, like I'm afraid that if you get heavy with it, it's gonna be like super hard to blend out. I mean, I feel like I was able to blend it out pretty well because I kind of know what I'm doing, but if you either are a beginner with contouring or if you don't like know the best like blending techniques, I don't know if this is gonna be one that I'd recommend to you. As you guys can see, this pigment is like not joking around at all. This is literally like amazing for how much it cost. But like I said earlier, I would just be a little bit cautious and mindful if you do want more of a natural glam look, or if you are a beginner, just be very delicate with it. Don't overly saturate your brush, because as you guys can see, it takes you from like 0 to 100 like real quick with the contour. There is no like in between. It's just like nothing to like bam, Instagram. I would really like to know what your guys' feedback is so far, since you guys are seeing it on HD cameras as opposed to me where I'm just like looking in this little tabletop mirror right here. Let me know if you guys think it looks good so far. I'm just gonna go ahead and dip my brush into that color again, but just very lightly. I'm gonna kind of focus on dipping the tip into the brush, not the whole like circumference of the brush, because that would make me look a little crazy. And I'm just gonna lightly kind of chisel out my forehead. And then I'm gonna go on to the other side because I feel like I'm already pretty much like done with this side with the contour. Okay, so far I'm appreciating this forehead area a lot better. I think it's looking better because I dipped way less into the brush. Or I mean not the brush, the palette. I dipped the brush very lightly into the palette. I'm gonna add a little tiny bit more right here. cancel out this 5 head. Okay, I'm gonna be very delicate this time and dip my brush into it again, but I'm gonna try to get kind of around the same amount. I'm gonna go in and do this side now, so we'll just have to see what happens. I feel like I'm having an easier time on this side, like blending it, since I was a little bit more like delicate with how much product I picked up. I feel like I'm having a lot more like control of the product. Final thoughts on the contour palette before I move on to the highlighter. I love it a lot, but I don't know, I feel really weird right now. I feel kind of like neutral about it, like I like it, but the only thing I wish I could change about it is that I wish that it was almost like a little bit less pigmented. I mean, I feel like that's kind of weird to say, like a contour palette is almost like too pigmented, but I feel like if you put too much on, like you can have a really hard time blending it if you don't like do your makeup correctly, or if you don't know how to blend perfectly. I feel like it's going to be kind of a challenge for beginners if they get heavy with it. That's the only bad thing I can say though, is that I feel like it's too pigmented. I kind of like the quality of the Kat Von D one a little bit better because it isn't as rich, so you don't really get heavy handed with it on accident if you get really crazy with the amount of like times you swatch your brush in the palette. I would definitely say though I like it a lot better than the Anastasia one. I feel like the Anastasia one I have to work like a lot of pigment up to kind of get a lot of saturation on my face, and then I feel like with the Anastasia one, like I'll put a lot on and then I'll leave the house and I'll look in the mirror like in my car or at work or whatever, and I'll be like, where the heck did my contour go? So I feel like the Anastasia one is definitely not better than the Sephora collection one, but I do personally kind of like the Kat Von D one a little bit better than this. But don't get me wrong, this Sephora collection one is not bad like at all. But I just have to keep it 100 with you guys, let you know that it's not my favorite so far, but it's not like the worst. It's just not like the creme of the crop like Kat Von D. So I am definitely going to be using this in the future, and I'm going to try to use it in different ways. I really want to try doing eye makeup with it and kind of see how it goes. So if you guys have tried this palette, let me know what you guys think so far. I really want to know your feedback as well, so we can kind of like talk about it and see if you had either better results than me or worse results. I feel like I don't like love the way that my contour looks, but I don't hate it. I do feel like it looks like a little much, but I don't know if that's just the fact that like I'm not personally obsessed with the whole like contoured face anymore. Like, as you guys know from my videos and like my photos lately, I barely ever add any contour and bronzer because I feel like whenever I add contour and bronze to my face, it's just like the first thing that my eyes gravitate towards, and it makes me feel like I look very like muddy and dirty. So lately I've been adding like a little tiny bit of bronzer and kind of majorly just like highlighter and blush, because I just feel like it makes your skin look a little bit like prettier and more youthful. But nonetheless, I feel like I'm rambling about that palette, so let's move on to the highlighter palette now. I'm really excited because highlighter just makes me like, just recharges me and makes me feel like I just have all of the energy in the world again. So for the highlighter application, I'm going to be using the brush that I use on the daily, the Morphe M510. So looking at these colors, I think they're all gorgeous, but I don't think they're all going to be the most flattering on my cheeks. I think I'm going to kind of majorly get the best usage out of probably like that one, and then maybe that, oh wrong way, that pink one, and then maybe a little bit of that white one as like a topper. But I think that today I am going to dip into, I think I'm going to do a little bit of this one and then a little bit of this one as well, just to kind of like lighten it. I was kind of thinking about getting my brush wet and applying it, but I really want to see a genuine like swatch of how it goes on all by itself. Okay, so far so good. I feel like this definitely kind of like made this cheek look a lot better, but I don't know why, I just feel like my contour looks so wonky right now. Is it just me or does it look wonky? I'm really liking how these colors came out so far, so I'm just gonna kind of dip in and add some more. One thing I'm appreciating so far about this palette is that, like, you guys see how much I'm applying and how much I'm buffing it out. I don't notice any like chunky heavy sparkle. I feel like it's a really good like micro smooth formula. It seems like it has a really good like thin glitter in it that kind of adds that highlight. It doesn't give you that chunky kind of like eyeshadow glitter sparkle. But so far so good. I feel like I'm definitely going to be utilizing this highlight palette way more than that contour palette. I honestly think what I'm going to end up doing is like using that contour palette as like eyeshadows, or just putting it into my kit and using it on clients, because oof, I just don't know how I feel about how ashy this looks. I mean, like, it's alright for now, but I don't know if I'm going to be adding that much again in the future. And I love to build up like as much as I can so I can really see how it looks. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and add a little bit of this to the other side just by itself and see what it looks like. I wanna see how pigmented this one is. Yeah, this one I don't feel like I notice as much by itself. It's almost like a little bit too light. I'm gonna add a little bit more of this shade. These are my two favorites so far. I might add a little bit of one of those pinky shades in a hot second, but let me just see how this side goes. Okay, so like as you guys can probably tell, I love everything about my face so far, like makeup wise, except for the contour. Like this highlight though is freaking amazing. It looks so blinding. Oof. I just can't wait until like tomorrow when I can apply it without this contour under it, because I feel like this contour is almost kind of like killing my vibe right now. It's kind of like ruining my look in my opinion. One thing I really want to see is I really want to see how these blush tone ones look. So let me see. I'm gonna add a little bit of this darker kind of like pinky one. I want to kind of apply it like blush, so let me grab a different brush. So I'm gonna use the Anastasia A23. I like to use this for blush. So I'm just gonna kind of focus that a little bit more on the apple and then brush that baby back to the hairline. Yeah, this is really pretty so far. I like how it isn't super like bubblegummy pink. It kind of just gives you a little bit of that soft like cool tone vibe. See if this will like help save my face for the day. Okay, this side is literally bothering me so much right now, so I'm gonna go in with a little bit of my translucent powder and I'm gonna almost kind of like bake under the contour just to kind of like push it back up a little bit and fix that shadow, because I feel like it's bothering me so much right here. So I wonder if I just can kind of like reduce this, if it'll make me feel a little bit better about this palette. Okay, that's a little bit better so far. I wonder if it was the fact that I applied my contour a little bit too low, if that was what was bothering me or what, but I feel like it's looking a little bit better now. Then I'm just gonna take this clean Sigma large powder F30 brush and just kind of like buff my cheeks out and just try to get everything a little bit more seamless. Alright you guys, I will be right back. I'm gonna go ahead and apply a quick lip, then I'll be back to share with you guys my final thoughts and opinions on these palettes that are new from Sephora Collection. Alright you guys, so this is the final look that I created today. If you guys are curious about what I'm wearing on my face, I will make sure to leave a big list in the description box below of all the products I have on my face, as well as all links to all my social media. So make sure you guys are following me on Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram if you guys want to keep up with me. So final thoughts and opinions on these two palettes. I'm sure you guys can probably already guess what I'm gonna say. The highlight palette I love so much. I feel like it's just about the same exact quality as the Anastasia Glow Kits. It's super pigmented. You can put a little bit on and have more of that natural highlight, or you can really build it kind of like I did today and make it like that blinding like scene from space highlight. I do feel like this palette is worth every single penny that you pay for it. I would really recommend to buy this palette. Strong recommend actually. I feel like it's really really good, and I do think this is gonna be definitely like super popular as the months go into summer. And when it comes down to the actual contour palette, I'm kind of like iffy about it. So I don't love it and I don't hate it. I just feel like since my preferences with makeup has kind of like changed recently, I don't love contouring and bronzing as much as I used to. So I don't feel like I'm gonna actually like use all of these colors up all the way, but I do definitely want to try them as eyeshadows as well to see how they perform on the eyes. So if you are a pro and you love contouring and bronzing and you know how to do it and you feel comfortable with blending and like kind of controlling your amount of saturation, I would recommend this. But if you are a beginner, I would not. I would probably recommend going and buying like either the Smashbox one or the Kat Von D if you are a beginner. But for the price being $28, I feel like you cannot go wrong with this palette. I just don't want to say it's my absolute favorite, and it's not like the worst palette in the world. Alright you guys, enough rambling about highlighting and contouring today. This is all I have for you, so I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. So yeah, I really cannot thank you guys enough for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video.